Hello darlings, welcome to part number 2 of my eyeshadow collection and declutter. So originally I was only planning to have it be one part, but turns out I have a really big collection and going through each palette took time. So if you're here, this is part number 2 and I am future Liz who made it past the point of realizing, oh shit, I need to do an intro and an outro for this. So please enjoy part number 2. We're just gonna jump right in yeah. Enjoy. This is the final part of my eyeshadow collection and declutter. And thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you very much. All right. Bye. Whew, man, progress. So the next is this little tiny NARS palette. I'm so used to big palettes now that when I hold something like this, I'm like, this is a little tiny palette. Look at this little tiny palette. It's a neutral. It's a 6-pan neutral palette by NARS. I'm going to declutter it because I just am not going to reach for it. And I know that if you're a neutral lover, this might be a really beautiful travel palette. But yeah, I'm not going to reach for it. I wish this shade was actually, or like, let's say this shade. I wish this shade was like a light color matte. I think that would be beautiful, or like a highlight shade, but a light color matte. Instead of, this is just, I don't know. It wasn't curated well in my opinion. Even as somebody who's not like a neutral lover, I just don't think that was a good plan. My mother-in-law gave me that and I'm not going to use it. So it's going to go to somebody else. The next is this little quad by Undone Beauty. It's pretty. I don't reach for it. I'm not the biggest fan of quads. I'm just not. And so for that reason, I am going to declutter it. I'm going to move it on to somebody else and see if they want it. So it's beautiful and it performs okay. It was inexpensive. I got it from Ulta Beauty and I'm just going to move it on. I don't reach for it and that's that. So, oh man, this palette right here, this bitch right here, so pretty. It's so pretty. It doesn't even look like I've used it. This is the Gemini 2 palette by Melt Cosmetics. It's gorgeous and I really like it. It's like kind of grungy and warm and greens and oranges with like pinky kind of tones. I don't know, it just screams my name. The packaging's beautiful and textured. Add to cart. Buy another one. No, kidding. Okay, so the next palette is the Saga of Freya. This is the Cat's Breath palette. And that's here. I don't feel like I've used this palette a decent amount, but I haven't used it a lot. It still looks unused. I don't even think I've used this like sequin type shade. I'm gonna hang on to it for a bit longer. This is not my favorite Onsai formula. I don't reach for this compared to their other palettes. But I do think it's pretty and I'm gonna keep it. Like the packaging A+. That's for damn sure, but yeah. Okay, so next I am covered. My black shirt was a poor life choice. I'm covered in eyeshadow. Is the Plain Jane Remastered by Adept Cosmetics. I've really enjoyed this brand. It's an all shimmer palette. It's a beautiful accent piece. It's rare that I do just an all shimmer look in general. I do like to mix mattes and shimmers. It's a beautiful palette. I am going to hang on to it and yeah, love. Okay. So next on the agenda is this palette here by Salem and the Witch. This is Salem Cosmetics and this is Salem and the Witch. I've enjoyed this palette. It's pretty messy, I know, but I've enjoyed it. I don't know what their other palettes are like because I don't have any, but I've enjoyed this one. I don't reach for this color story a lot. And I think this color story is really similar to the Give Me Glow. Where's that palette? The Witches palette. Excuse me. So since that palette is not available, this might be a good dupe because it is similar. It's not the same, but it's similar. But yeah, I've enjoyed it. I'm really interested to see what they're going to do next. So yeah. All right, the next palette was a gift my hubby got me, and I don't think I've used it yet. And that's the Michaela Nogueira Part 2 with Glamlight Cosmetics. I love how curated this is, how beautiful this is. Keep. Yep, absolutely gorgeous. Love. God, I'm such a weirdo. I'm okay with it. Okay, next palette, moving right along. We are over halfway done, friends. We're over halfway done. I'm gonna have to clear some room here shortly. Next palette is this Shayna B Miami cosmetics palette. Oh, that's a mouthful. Gosh. Here, pressed glitter. Ew, no thank you. But this shimmer here is really interesting color. It's like a metallic burgundy. That's the only reason I held on to this, but frankly, I haven't reached for it and I'm just gonna move it along. So it's not touched and it's just gonna find a new home, just not with me. So, all right, next is the Francesca Tolo palette that with Ofra Cosmetics. It's beautiful. I've used a couple of the shades in here. I'm gonna declutter this. I thought about taking these pans out and reusing it with something that I curated myself, but I'm never gonna do that. Let's not pretend. I'm never gonna do that. I really like this kind of packaging from Ofra versus their cardboard packaging. I think their cardboard packaging comes across as cheap. There, I said it. I love the brand, but I think their cardboard eyeshadow palette, that the packaging is the same for every palette, basically. I don't love that. I don't dig that. So I think this kind of packaging where it's like heavy duty, custom kind of I think this is much better. The packaging is beautiful. And then they could just alter the centerpiece, from palette to palette. But I am going to declutter it because I don't reach for it often. All right, darlings, moving right along. We are more than halfway finished, so that's exciting. So let's do the next one. Okay, so this is one of the new releases from Odin's Eye. This is their Merry Christmas palette. Keep, bathe me in these colors. I love them so much. I haven't even used it yet. Don't care. Love. So keep. All right. And right behind it is the Christmas Eve palette, which I have used a couple of times now, and I think it's just beautiful. It's beautiful. I really hope they bring these back for all the people that missed out on the initial release and then the pre-order. Like, they should absolutely open up another pre-order for both of these. 100% they should. I think they're absolutely stunning. Stunning. One of my favorite color stories they've ever done. And that's saying something. Like, all right, so next is the Lunar Beauty Advent Calendar. Excuse me. Next is the Lunar Beauty Advent Calendar 12 Days of Lunar Palette. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful fall color story. I've maybe used it once and it's really pretty and I really like it. So keep. Oddly enough, this is now the only Lunar Beauty palette in my collection. So, but the formula is really nice. I like the formula. Yeah. The next is my custom palette that I built with Divina Cosmetics for myself out of singles, and I painted it and named it the Swamp Witch, and now I have put lettering. But yeah, so it's a Swamp Witch, and these are all single shades that are available from Divina. Love. Clearly, I have a type. It's just, I have a type. So there's no denying that. I just do, and I ain't sorry. Okay, so next is the Hudson Valley palette by Nomad Cosmetics. If ever there was a fall color story, this is the fall color story. This is the falliest of all fall color stories, my opinion. You have reds and burgundies and yellows and medium tone browns and oranges. And then you have these cool kind of grungier colors up here. It's beautiful. It is. It's just beautiful. Keep. All right, moving right along. I keep rubbing my hands like, Mr. Burns. All right, so next is the Batty Bean and Shroud Cosmetics. It's Freakin' Bats palette. Keep, love, not my favorite formula ever. I haven't tried anything else by Shroud. Oh, I'm sticking my fingers in on accident. I haven't tried anything else by Shroud, but the formula on this is not my favorite. But I still really like it. I really like it, and I love the color story. So keep. Yep. Keep. I've gotten a lot of use out of that palette already too, so which is awesome. Next is the Adept Cosmetics and Heather Austin palette. I think she killed it. She absolutely killed it with this palette. This color story is just, yeah, it's absolutely stunning. Love. The only complaint that I have is maybe the shade. I would have liked to have had like a different shade, but that's okay. I don't care. It's beautiful. Love. Keep. She killed it with that palette. She really did. All right, next is the At Forest Sight by Raw Beauty Christie. I'm gonna play with this palette a little bit more, but this may end up on the chopping block next to Clutter, because I don't reach for this very often, and I'm not sure, it's nothing to do with the palette, I don't think, but I have a pretty big collection, and if I don't start reaching for this a little bit, I'm gonna move it along, I think. But this time, it survives another declutter, so keep. All right, next is the large pan. I think it's a 30 pan by Glamlight with Michaela Pat 2. It's beautiful. I'm gonna hang on to it. Firstly, if you're looking for like an inexpensive, good quality indie brand makeup, check out Glamlight. They make some beautiful palettes, and this is a beautiful palette. I think it's beautiful. Just, it is. Keep. It is a large palette. Most of their palettes are large, I think. So if you like small format, well, you may not like their stuff as much. But yeah. Okay, so next is the Flower Punk palette by Kaleidos. Absolutely love this. This is probably the favorite palette that I have bought in the last, I could be wearing it today, but I'm not, but I could be. It's gorgeous. I love. This is almost the perfect color story for me. Almost. Love. Yeah. Keep. They kept that one around for a long time. I'm not sure what's going on with Kaleidos. I don't like the direction. I get they're trying to reach new customers. I don't really like the direction that they're going right now. And I hope for their sake they figure out what the fuck they're doing, because I don't like the direction they're going. I don't like quads. The face contour palettes look mediocre at best to me. I said it. I said what I said. And I don't like these, like the last two eyeshadow palette releases have been quads. So what are you offering right now in terms of eyeshadow on their site? They've got quads, and they've got the Futurism palette, which performance-wise has really mixed reviews. So yeah, I don't know. They got to figure something out. I don't know. I hope they release some larger format palettes. That's my hope for them. So, all right, next is Lois Cosmetics Meet Me in the Underworld. Fucking love this palette. It's beautiful. It's like muted. It's like, these are the kind of grungy type tones that I like. They're a little bit muted. They blend out beautifully. Like, the quality is gorgeous. These shimmers, I like this shimmer formula just a little bit better, I think, than their Meet Me at Midnight palette, and that's just because the colors themselves are brighter, and that's just more of my taste. But yeah, it's a gorgeous palette. This is one of my favorite blacks. It's just one of my favorite blacks ever. It's beautiful. Keep. Okay. The next one was a panning project for me, and I formed a decent amount of my opinions about Natasha Denona shadows based off of this palette here. So I could be way off base, but like I said, they're not my favorite. But this is the Natasha Denona Retro palette. I hit pan in, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 shades. This one was panned, and then I had to repress it because it was falling out. This one was panned and then just fell out all the way. This is where I formed my opinion about this is overrated. I enjoyed using it. It was fine, but I just don't get what all the hype is about, honestly. Her packaging, fucking love the packaging, but like, if this shade just fell out, and the pan in it was tiny. So, you know, I don't know. I think it's okay. The color story is beautiful. I'm gonna keep it and continue using it, but it's not all that unique to my collection, and it's overrated for what it is. I said what I said. Don't judge me. Actually, you can judge me. I don't give a shit. So here is the Lethal Cosmetics 1-Up palette, and I love this palette so much. Firstly, if you don't like oddly shaped, but look, it changes. I know there's a name for that and I don't know what it is, and that's okay. But rectilucent? That's probably, get your minds out of the gutter. Look at it. It's so pretty. So pretty. The video gamer in me is like so pleased. But yeah, love, 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 love. Keep. I would like to see Lethal come out with more palettes like this, where they're like themed or like curated, not like their Night Flower palette, which is like their standard format for their Build-A palettes, but like more unique palettes for them. I loved this, and I really want to see them do more of this kind of thing. The next is the Nomad Cosmetics. Basically their Iceland palette. It's their Land of Fire and Ice. Stunning color story. Don't think I've used it at all. Look at this little gnome. So cute. I haven't even used this formula yet, like this palette's formula, but add to cart. Give me 10 more. I really want the Whistler Snow Lodge, and it's gonna go half off on Black Friday, so I'm probably gonna buy it. Not gonna lie to you. But yeah, I really like it, so keep. Okay, next. Some of y'all might be a little, I'm gonna declutter this next palette. This is the Viseart. I think this one's called the Dark Edits. Let's see, neutral matte eyeshadow palette. I think this one was called the Dark Edits. I could be wrong, but I never reached for this. I've used it a couple of times. I think their mattes were blendable and they were okay. I don't see what the hype is about, and I don't feel like full price this is worth the money, if I'm being 100% honest. This just doesn't do it for me. So this is gonna move right along. I think I got this for kind of $9. I think it was, or $18 maybe, on BoxyCharm or Ipsy, one of those. I think it was BoxyCharm. And I don't see what the fuss is about, honestly. So we're gonna declutter that one, I think. All of these shades, I have all of these shades in my Makeup Geek singles. So why would I keep, you know what I mean? Maybe this blue shade, I'll look around and see if I have that shade, but the rest of them I have. So next, I really like this palette. This is the Break the Rules palette by It's Belle. Stunning accompaniment palette. It is absolutely stunning. Annette's Makeup Corner, I just saw the other day that she has this palette as well, and she uses it as a companion palette, and it is just gorgeous. It's gorgeous. Look at this shade. Just look at it. Look at it. Man, it's a beautiful palette. Keep. Bathe me in all the sparkles. Bathe me in them, I want to. Okay, next is the Clio. Okay, I don't quite know because I just bought it. And I didn't do that much reading about it, if I'm not gonna lie to you. This is the Cliona. This is one of the Halloween bundles that they did for their stained glass shades. This year they came out with like a curated collection. There were 2 color stories for Halloween. These are gorgeous. I get what all the fuss is about now, like the Cliona. They're just so pretty. Would I wear them on their own? I don't think so. I don't think, maybe this shade, oh, just bathe me in it. But like, but yeah, they're beautiful and I really like them, and I'm really happy that I bought them. But yeah, they're stunning. Beautiful, beautiful shades. Absolutely love. Okay, so the next palette I really enjoyed, but I think I'm gonna declutter it because I never reached for it, and I feel like this palette could get so much more love other places. So this is the Eloise palette here, and this is the A Queen Lies in All of Us. It's called the Queen palette. It's absolutely beautiful. It's a beautiful color story. It performed absolutely stunning on the lid. Beautiful formula. Every shade in here that I used about half of it, I'd say. Every shade in here that I used performed. Oh, I just kind of want to keep it though. Now it's in front of me. Look at it, just, oh, they're just beautiful. But you know what? I think I'm going to pass it on. I haven't reached for it since my last declutter, and I think it's just time. I've enjoyed it and I've loved it, and now somebody else can love it. And that's just what it is. So, all right. Next, let's see, put you in that stack right there, and hopefully that stack doesn't fall. The next palette is one of the ColourPop Hocus Pocus. This is the second release that they did. And this is going to be a keep. I'm going to keep all the Hocus Pocus palettes merely as a collector, okay? Am I gonna reach for them? Probably not as much. But I don't care because I love Hocus Pocus and I love all things witchy, and you can come at me, but it doesn't matter because I'm gonna keep them anyway. So, and just like that, I turned into a child. So this is this year's Hocus Pocus release. This is for Hocus Pocus 2, the second movie. This color story, though, by far my favorite Hocus Pocus color story that they came out with. It's beautiful, and I really like it, and keep. I've only used it, I've maybe used it once. I can't say that I've used it more than that. And yeah, keep. Add to cart. Okay, so the next palette is by another indie brand, and I found them on Etsy, I believe. Excuse me. Okay, and this is their cosmic single shade collection. It's beautiful. They're beautiful. They perform beautifully. I like using this as a companion palette. I wish this palette itself was a different size because it's really not conducive to, like, see what I mean? This needed to be like 2 millimeters bigger so that you could actually line them up and use 9 eyeshadows in this. Whoever designed this should be slapped. Whoever designed like the actual palette should be slapped. But the shadows themselves are beautiful, and I'm gonna keep it. So yeah, go check them out on Etsy. They do sales from time to time, and they can have some really beautiful colors that they put out. It is a lot of singles, and they just released a palette, like an actual curated palette. So I'm curious to see how that's gonna do. All right, so the next palette is this one by Bobbi Brown, and it's called the Luxe Encore Eyeshadow Palette in Burgundy. I have not used this. My mother-in-law gave me this, and I am going to declutter it. There's a bug here. Be gone, you. So I think it's pretty, but I'm never going to reach for this. These are pretty hard panned. It's very much in the Bobbi Brown subtle pretty category. Bobbi Brown does some really like subtly pretty makeup. This is not it for me. Honestly, when I look at this, I think Pat McGrath, and that's not a compliment coming from me. I don't own any of her palettes because I just have not been, I don't want to buy the same pink eyeshadow palette over and over and over again. I said what I said. You don't have to agree, but keep it to yourself. But yeah, so yep, not it for me. It's going to be a no from me, dog. We're going to pass this on. The next palette I've only used once, and okay, Huda Beauty. They're 9 pans. They're 9-pan palettes. For whatever reason, the formulation is not as good as their large scale palettes, okay? Now, I've only used this palette one time, and it did not perform well for me that one time. It was okay, but it was not like the best thing ever. So, and that is this Wild palette by Huda Beauty. It's a beautiful color story. Absolutely beautiful. Did not get the color payout that I was expecting. So I might dig into the shades a little bit and see if maybe there's like a film or something, because that happens sometimes on like the outside, and then when you dig in, like it performs better. But yeah, it's a beautiful color story, and I'm gonna keep it and use it again. So, all right, next. The Love Notes palette by Beauty Bay. Beauty Bay put like a whole bunch of their stuff on sale. And so I don't know if this palette is still on the site. This was a limited edition, I think, but if you see it on there, I actually like it. A lot of people said it was hit and miss. I think it's beautiful. I like the shimmers and I like the mattes. A couple of them, like this one was tricky to blend. This one was tricky to blend, which is surprising because browns are not normally that bad, but excuse me, but it's beautiful. I like it, and I'm keeping it, and I would absolutely recommend it for the price point that I got it. I think it was like $11 when I got it. 100% worth every penny. So keep. The Berries palette by Beauty Bay. Love. Beautiful. Used it twice, maybe twice. It's beautiful. I think if you have these shades already, then you don't need this palette. But this is also an inexpensive core item from Beauty Bay, and it's worth every penny. I think the US is really sleeping on Beauty Bay. because I know they are like a UK based retailer, but they make beautiful products. Their eyeshadow formula it's gorgeous. I love it. So, and I love that it's inexpensive. Like, it is very much accessible to people who don't have as high of an income, and I think that's amazing. So the next, we're going to go through Beauty Bay palettes. That's just what's next. So next is the Bright palette by Beauty Bay. It's beautiful. Do I have these shades in my Blend Bunny Surge palette? Yes, I do. I have them. Am I mad about it? No. And I'm going to keep these because I like them. And I think there's some really interesting colors here. This is a really interesting color. And I think this is a really interesting color for a shimmer. And yeah, beautiful. Love. Keep. Next. So, I don't even think I've used this palette yet. Friends, I don't even think I've used this one. It's the Sunset Horizons by Beauty Bay. I don't even think I've used it. Nope, haven't used it. Beautiful. Love. Keep. Haven't used it. Don't care. I want it. I'm keeping it. So, Sunset Horizons, I don't know if this is still available, but this got really good reviews online as well, and that's why I still have it. So, this palette, the next palette got, some people say it's really hit and miss. There's a cat hair there. It's for baby life. I've never had a problem with this palette, and that is the Beauty Bay Opulence palette. I will say, I think a couple of these stained. I don't remember which shades they were, but I think they did stain. Maybe this one. It's a beautiful palette. Love. Use a primer. But yeah, I know a lot of people said that they had problems with this palette. They couldn't get it to work. I have not had a problem doing that. I've enjoyed it so far. I don't know, maybe used it 5 times. It's not been that much. So next, I don't even think I've used this palette. And it's the Earthly palette by Beauty Bay. It's gorgeous. I clearly love green eyeshadow, right? Keep. Inexpensive, beautiful, love. Keep. And yeah, I don't think that's going to go anywhere. And I love that they made that color story part of their main line. Love. Okay. So next is Tried and True Wilderness palette, multiple pans. Reach for this a lot still. Beautiful. Absolutely. Keep. I will probably hit pan on every shade in this palette before it's over with. Like, I will, 100%. And then maybe they'll release it again and I can get a backup. I think the next 2 palettes I'm going to declutter. And I think that you guys are going to be surprised by it. Maybe not. The first, let's see this color story. Yeah. The first is this ABH Norvina. Is this a beautiful color story? Yes. I have these shades in other palettes that I reach for more. And for that reason, I think I'm going to declutter this palette. I don't think I've used it. I don't think I've used it. I could, probably donate this or give this to somebody else who's going to get a lot more use out of it. And I think I got it in BoxyCharm. They had it on like clearance for some stupidly cheap price. It was nowhere near full price. And I bought it because I know how highly hyped up these palettes are, but honestly, I never reach for it. So on to the next. I'm going to declutter it. Let me grab the paper, the plastic though, so it's not sitting on the ground. There's like little pieces of plastic from these palettes all over the place. So yeah, let's put this in the declutter pile. Oh, okay, that one's full. Let's put it over here. Okay. All right, the next one, I think I'm going to declutter as well. And I think I have these shades. Oh, I don't know. Here's the deal. I love oranges and greens, but I've never reached for this palette. I've had this palette a long time too, same as the other Norvina, never reached for it. So part of me is screaming, declutter, 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 but I don't think I'm ready to let it go yet. So maybe I'll hang on to this for just a little while longer. I definitely don't reach for this one. I have other palettes that I like more, but maybe I'll just declutter. Oh gosh, I'm torn. You know what? I'll keep it for a little while longer. If I don't reach for it by next declutter, I'll get rid of it, because there's no point in keeping something if you're never gonna reach for it, So All right, next on the docket is this Beauty Bay Midnight palette. You don't need this palette. This is a big palette. There's a lot here. It's a lot to unpack here, okay? Do you need this? No, you don't. I think there's 42 shades here. Yeah, 42 shades. You don't need it. I have it already. I like it. But you don't need anything this big. Honestly, I would be happier with the 20 palette, like the 20 pan palette, than having this big old thing, because it is hard to store. It's oversized. It's beautiful. But yeah, I'm gonna hang on to it because it's beautiful. But yeah, it's a lot. Oh, do you see this? Do you see this? Shame. I can't take me anywhere. Hold on. No, I'm just making it worse. Well, all right. BRB. Let's fix that. Okay, darlings, we are down to the last stack of palettes. I feel like this has been a journey. I have a big collection. So thank you for sitting here this whole time. So let's just finish it, you know? Let's finish it. Okay. So the next are going to be, is going to be this little Miss Bliss palette by ColourPop. It's a really cute, really like pretty little peachy color story. I've maybe used one shade in this whole palette. I'm going to declutter it, pass it on to somebody else. It's beautiful packaging. My best friend gave me these for Christmas last year. Sorry, bestie, if you end up seeing these, but I'm going to move along because I just don't reach for it. So, I think I'm going to do the same with this other one. This was called In a Trance. Now, these were part of a 3-pack. The other one's over here too. Excuse me. These were part of a 3-pack. They all came together. I think this shade is like really, really pretty. I don't know if it's a flaky or if it's a glitter. Feels like a glitter. Yep, definitely a glitter. So, but yeah, it's a really cute little color story, but I just don't reach for it, so I'm going to pass it on. Okay. That was easy. Next, quick and painless. All right, so the next two, let's see, this palette here, I've gotten a lot of use out of this palette. It may not look like it, but I've gotten a lot of use out of this palette. This was probably the first ColourPop palette that I ever bought, maybe the second, but it's a beautiful palette. I really enjoyed it, but I am going to pass it on. It's time. It's starting to get older, and I'm going to give it to somebody who can give it some love before before it goes bad, because it's been around for a while. This was probably the exact first palette that I ever bought from ColourPop, and that is the X's, let's see, X's and O's. This was a Valentine's release for them, and I panned this one. Like, that's all just me panning it. It didn't even break. I just panned it. And I've really enjoyed this palette, but I'm going to pass it on because I do have similar type shades in my collection, and I just don't reach for this one anymore. But yes, but I've enjoyed it. It's been a good palette for me, and it introduced me to ColourPop, so not mad at it. All right. Whew. Next is the back to our controversial little friend over JSC, and this is a conspiracy palette that Jeffree Star did with Shane Dawson. I think that their formula is just average, but I'm not done with this palette yet, so I'm going to hang on to it because I haven't used this one all that much. The shades that I have used have been okay, but I want to play with this more, so I'm going to keep it. The packaging is bulky and kind of annoying, but yeah, I don't know. I'm not ready to let it go yet, so I'm going to hang on to it for a bit longer. All right. Next is the Too Faced Just Peachy Mattes. It's a beautiful color story. I got this in some subscription box, and I'm going to hang on to it for a while longer. It's a virgin palette. I've never used it. This has really high reviews, like really high. People really seem to love this palette, and the formula and everything online. But some of these shades like this I had in that Viseart palette, and I would rather just keep one. You know what I mean? Like this, oh my God, this really does look similar to the Viseart palette. Hold on. Is that just me? Is it just me, or are these similar? I'll let you be the decider. You can be the decider. Tell me which color story do you prefer? I prefer this one, honestly, but yeah. but they look really similar to me. I'm going to keep this palette. So Too Faced is real hit and miss with their shadows. Sometimes I think they're really nice, and then sometimes they're just awful. And I don't feel like there's really an in between there. So this is an Ofra Cosmetics palette. This is their Good to Go palette. I'm going to declutter this palette just because I don't reach for it. And I have highlighters and bronzers and blushes that are separate. So I'm going to move it along. But yeah, so bye-bye. Deuces. This is the second Hocus Pocus palette. Really cute, really mature color story. Like I look at this and I think like an adult curated this palette. You know what I mean? Like a 30-something adult curated this palette. It's pretty and I'm going to keep it. So yeah, tally-ho. All right. The next are just some single shades from Divina Cosmetics. These are a keep. And it's just here. They're just really pretty. Like this is Phantom Orbs collection. Just some beautiful, beautiful shades. I look forward to playing with them more because I haven't played with them a whole lot yet. But yeah, I'm not mad at it. Oh, this is a blush palette. So we're just going to move that to the side because that's a whole nother thing. And I guess, is this the last palette? It's the last palette. The last palette. It's a ColourPop palette. I keep wanting to hang on to it for this green. And there's no reason I should because I have this green all over my collection. But I'm going to declutter it because I just don't reach for it. And I have this shade and like a whole bunch of other brands. So that's it. Man, wow, we're done. Well, that's exciting. All right, so let's count the palettes that I'm decluttering. Okay. 28, 29. We are decluttering 30 palettes. 30 palettes. Wow. So my collection is under 100 again. Cool. That's exciting. And they're beautiful color stories. Like I said, I will sanitize and donate these or let my friends and family pick them out first. I'm not sending them to anyone. But it's amazing how fast your collection can get out of control if you're not paying attention, if you're not like checking yourself. So something that I'm trying to do a little bit differently is I'm trying to dwell on a palette for a while. There are certain things that I'm going to jump on right away. There's just certain things that I'm really like, I'm going to get right away, like the Onsai ones. But there's other ones that I'm just kind of stewing on. And then I find if I'm still thinking about them like a month later, that's when I'm going to get it. So if I'm, sorry, my light's moving around. If I'm still thinking about it a month later, then I really want it. And then that's when I'll go ahead and pull the trigger on it. But I'm trying to just kind of reel back a little bit, use some of the palettes that I have. I'm not doing a no buy. I'm not even doing like a low buy specifically, but I'm just trying to use the palettes that I have and give them the attention they deserve. And I think that's all you can really do with your makeup collection. So thank you for being here with me today. Thank you for, hanging out and going through my collection with me because holy cannoli, it's a lot. And now I have the fun job of trying to put all this away. Wish me luck. Okay, I will catch you in the next one. And if you like this video, if you like hanging out with me, I like having a really relaxed approach to YouTube. So if you like doing all that, please go ahead and hit subscribe, thumbs up this video, comment, whatever. And why don't we, if you made it this far, why don't you leave me some skull and crossbones emojis for all those palettes that just didn't make it in my collection today. And I will talk to you guys on the next one. Bye. Love your faces and do good things. Okay, bye.